A message from your senses. This is the third video, third out of 5 that I will make about our senses. As you all know, we have 5 senses: the hearing, the seeing, the smelling, the tasting, and the feeling. So we have now come to the smelling. So we have something called Clairgustant, and of course that is the smell and the taste combined together. And for me, you know, when I smell something, for example, I think about my grandmother, and I miss her very, very much. And suddenly I sense a smell that I can only recognize her with. For example, some perfume she wore, her breath. Sometimes it's coffee. She was very fond of coffee. Even my great grandmother, I can connect with through smell, because she had a significant smell within her house. It's not easy to explain, but you understand if you feel the same, right? So something that you recognize with. Now, I have read stories about people that have, for example, scent the smell of smoke before a fire, right? That I had a premonition that there will be a fire, and they have had the smell of the fire. So and maybe some feelings of yours are connected with a smell, you know. This can be any type of feelings. Of course, we have unfortunately the scent of smell related to fear. If you have experienced a dangerous situation, right, you still have the scent of the smell of the event. So we are not trying to tap into those kind of smells, but we'll see how this turn out. So, as you can see, I've pulled out, as always, some oracle cards that can give us the direction of the message. One other thing I didn't mention in the intro is that, you know, sometimes you get the smell of something. For example, at least for me, many times I suddenly get the smell of, for example, a spice, like suddenly I smell cinnamon without opening a cinnamon bottle or using cinnamon in my food or anything. I suddenly just smell cinnamon. And or for example, oranges, without even having an orange in my house. So that is, of course, I look it up. I seek the information on the internet, of course, to see what is the message, and I search, for example, orange spiritual meaning, and then it comes up what the spiritual meaning is for each and every product. And always this smell is how can I say it? It's always something I need in that moment. Not that I need to eat something with cinnamon in or eat oranges, but it's a spiritual message for me, something I need to focus upon. And maybe that is something for you. When you smell something, it's not always that there is because it is because you miss someone. It's because there is a spiritual meaning and spiritual message that you need to receive right here, right now. So I highly encourage you, if you, for example, you are in your house, in your apartment, and you smell roses, and you don't have roses either in your garden or in your house, look it up in the internet and find the meaning of the significant product. Yeah. Okay, let's rock and roll. Believing in magic. True magic is abounding in my life. So, how can this relate to smelling something? I smell success. That is an expression, right? But another expression is I smell something fishy. So, smell something fishy is linked to a sense that something isn't right. You understand? And of course, magic stunt is, of course, an illusion. You fool the eye. You fool the eye to believe that there is something magical happening. And that is how our world are, of course, how our world is. It's an optical illusion, right? What you actually see. You can see. You can watch my video about the message from our eyes, from our vision. So maybe you know that our senses are fooling us, right? Giving us an illusion. Yeah, our senses are giving us an illusion. You know, as I said, the smell of fear. How can you relate the smell of fear? Because, as I said in the intro, the smell of fear for you is that you were in a dangerous situation once, and you relate that smell in that moment. For example, heavy sweat, or some foul perfume, or in worst case gunpowder, right? And blood. That is an optical illusion. When you smell those things again, maybe you relate to that you are in a dangerous situation. So have that in mind, that our senses are sometimes fooling us to believe things, but of course they are there to protect us. So we need our senses. They are there to protect us, but we mustn't over exaggerate the meaning of our senses. For example, as I said about smell, the smell of fear. Okay, next. Again we have comfort. I think that came out in, what was it? I think this is the third time this card comes out. So, the sense of smell. So, if you relate the sense of smell with, as I channeled right now, with the sense of fear, right? That is something that you need to heal, because you have to for example, if it's related to one certain scent, like a perfume, right? Maybe you should expose yourself to that perfume, because not every time you meet someone with the same scent of perfume is a danger to you, right? Or maybe if you were something happened at your workplace and you just had put on a coffee and yeah, you got some bad news, and then you relate the smell of coffee with, for example, with bad news, right? It's time for you to heal that fear of smell. Last one, outdoors. Yes, that is absolutely a good thing. When you get outdoors and you smell the earth, especially after a period of drought, you know. In the northern hemisphere now we have summertime, and then it has been very hot many places, especially in the northern Europe. Yeah, when it comes a heavy rain, I remember when I lived in my home country, it's always a beautiful thing after a drought when it comes a heavy rain and you smell the soil. It's so fresh, right? It's so refreshing. It's like you get the sense of new life. That is at least for me. You get a sense of new life. You get a sense of rejuvenation. Of course, you get the sense of cleansing, because the air feels much more fresher. I was almost going to sneeze, so maybe that was confirmation for me. You know, sneezing is when you clean your nose, right? Okay. How can this be related to the sense of smell? Well, we can relate it to the sense of fear, right? The smell of fear of being alone. We'll see how this can relate. Okay. More messages from the sense of smell. The sense of smell, please. Dear Spirit, what is our nose telling us? So I take it, the sneezing, that is of course to clean your nose, because there are parasites, bacteria, viruses, etc., dust, in the nose area, and you need to release. And I heard something that you shouldn't hold a sneeze within yourself, because it's actually in the long term it's actually dangerous to hold a sneeze inside. I wasn't aware of that until very recently, because you need the cleanse, as I said, you need the cleanse of the nose, and that is what the sneezing is doing for you. It cleanses and release the pressure, and it releases whatever is not supposed to be in your respiratory system. So I'll just move it a little bit like this, and then we see. Six of Swords. I'll look at all the cards first of all, and then I will interpret. The Master. Ooh. This is a special edition card in this deck. This is after the World card. When you have mastered all the 22 steps from the Fool until the World, you have become a master. And a magician is of course a master when he has worked on his profession, and he's an optical illusionist. The last one. Ooh, the 10 of Pentacles. We are the world. Interesting. So how can we relate this to the smell? I think I take a little pause and think a little bit about this. So as I said, the nose is of course the first meeting with our respiratory system, right? We breathe in fresh air through our nose, and we breathe out the air from the leftovers from our body, the carbon dioxide that we don't need. We breathe that out through our nose. And of course the respiratory system is helping us to alleviate our emotional pressure, right? Breathing exercises can calm us down. And look at this. When you're climbing uphill with a lot of luggage, how is your breath? How will your breath be like? We all have been hiking in the mountain with a lot of luggage in our backpack, it's difficult uphill when you have the backpack full of water, food, etc., etc. It's easier to climb down when you have drinking all the water and you're eating all the food, right? So there's something about focusing upon your breathing, becoming a master of your breath. Yeah, becoming a master of your breath. And look at this. This reminds me of if you have watched a depiction of a virus, as I talked about sneezing, you know, really cleaning up the system. So there's something about breathing exercise and sneezing. Don't hold your sneeze back because it's helping you to get rid of whatever you need to get rid of. I know that many that they hold for the nose so they won't sneeze. They sneeze within and not letting it out, and you know, yeah, it saves the environment for a little noise, but it's not good for your health in general. Let's look at the last card. The Four of Pentacles, the Miser. Yeah, holding your breath. Look at the nose of this woman here. When you don't breathe correctly, there is something about your respiratory system that isn't functioning very well, and maybe it's also message if you use a lot of nasal spray. Maybe you should be a little bit cut this a little bit out. But as I said, there is something about the right breathing, you know. How do you breathe? Do you breathe through the nose? Is it difficult to breathe through a nose? Or is it or do you breathe solely through the mouth? Maybe you have lost the sense of smell, you know, with the aloneness here. Maybe there is something wrong with the smell. Maybe you don't smell as good as you did before, due to maybe medicines you use, smoking, of course. You can see it's a lot of gray area here. But I feel that you should check your level of oxygen in the blood. It's very easy. You go to the doctor and you get a pulse oximeter. And yeah, it's just a clip on the finger, and then they measure the oxygen in your blood in that way. So below 90 is not a good thing. So you should have above 90. Yeah. Okay, this was a little long video. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching this message, watching this video, and I'll see you again in another reading very, very soon. Bye for now.